Okay, so here are your 6-5 Social Security and Medicare notes. I've cut down on some of the examples, so hopefully that will help you. So your last two objectives for this chapter, this is the last section, are to calculate Social Security and Medicare taxes, and they're just percentages, so it's going to be a lot of multiplication, and to represent Social Security and Medicare tax payments algebraically, everybody's favorite part. Alright, so down here, I've noticed that when I write it out, it is super messy and hard to understand, so I'm just going to type the definitions for you guys. Your first one is Social Security, and Social Security is an insurance, my typing won't be any better, through the government that gives, income to people who retire, become disabled, or receive survivors' benefits. Okay, so that's your Social Security. Your FICA tax. And FICA is just the bill that made Social Security and Medicare happen. So this tax depends on the Social Security percentage and the maximum income for the year. Although this tax is split between the employer and the employee. So this is both your Medicare and your Social Security. Your Social Security depends on your income to a certain extent. So what I mean by that is that there's a maximum income they will tax. After that, it doesn't matter how much you make, they're going to take the same amount from you. So Social Security tax, and that's kind of what I was just talking about up there. Your Social Security tax is, this right here is your Social Security tax. I'm sorry. Your FICA tax is just like I said, it's just those two taxes together. So it's Medicare and Social Security tax together. Okay. Your next one is your Medicare tax. And your Medicare tax is a percentage of your income. And they don't have no maximum income, so it's all of what you make. And this also is split between the employer and the employee. So the maximum taxable income is the maximum income on which a person must pay Social Security. And this is each year. Your Social Security number, just a number assigned to you to keep track of your taxes. So it identifies you, identifies a U.S. citizen, and it keeps track of the Social Security taxes paid. Okay? Alright, so for your first example, I want you to calculate Social Security and Medicare taxes, and that's the first objective. They're not asking you to do anything algebraic yet, okay? That, of course, will be coming up soon. Alright, so Ramiro got his first job in 2006. In that year, Social Security tax was 6.2% of income up to $94,200. So remember, Medicare doesn't care how much you've made. It's all of your income. Social Security does care. There's only a certain amount that they will even kind of take into consideration. Medicare tax is 1.45%. If Ramiro earned $73,210 in 2006, how much did he pay for Social Security and Medicare taxes? So we're going to find each one separately and then just total them together. Alright, so if I'm going to do Social Security for that year, Social Security was 6.2%. So remember, 6.2% as a decimal is 0.062. I need to make sure that Ramiro earned less than the maximum income, which he did. They're only going to tax up to $94,200. He made only $73,000. So I just need to multiply the percentage times what he actually made. Okay, and that should get you $4,539.02. So that's what he paid in Social Security that year. To do Medicare, you're going to do the same thing, only you're going to have a different percentage. So Medicare was 1.45%. Move the decimal over twice. I'll get 0.145 for a decimal. And again, multiply that by his yearly income. Remember, Medicare is always the yearly income. There is no maximum for the year. If you do that total, you're going to get $1,061.55. They want both of them together, so you just have to total them. So I'll just add them up. And if you add those up, your total will be $5,600.57 for the year. So that would be their FICA tax, right? F-I-C-A, all together, Medicare and Social Security. Okay, the next one down is really, really similar. Ron got his first job in 2013. In that year, Social Security tax was 6.2% of income, which is the same as above, up to $113,700. Medicare was 1.45%. If Ron earned $83,500 in 2013, how much did he pay for Social Security and Medicare? Okay, so the same deal. Here's my Social Security. The percentage for Social Security was 6.2, so 0.062 is my decimal. I'll multiply that by his income because it was less than the maximum taxable income. So I'll multiply it by 83,500. If you do that multiplication out, you should get $5,177.00. Do Social Security, Medicare. Medicare is the same percentage as the problem before. And Medicare does not have a maximum taxable income. So I'm just going to multiply it by what he needs. So 83,500. If you do that math out, you should get $1,210.75. Again, they want both of them together. So I'll just total that. I'll just add them up. You should get $6,387.75. Okay, and that's my final answer. Just add those things up. Oh, that's an ugly circle. Okay. Moving on. Think about it, you've pretty much been able to do objective number 7, right? You just cranked that out twice, and you should be okay. This is the only algebraic one on this paper, so here we go. She made a total of X dollars, which is less than the maximum taxable income. So that makes our job a little bit easier. Social Security was still 6.2 and Medicare was still 1.45. They want an expression that represents this. So if you think about what we were doing before, for Social Security, we were taking the percentage, which was, which is 6.2%, and making it into a decimal. So 0.062. And we were multiplying it by what they made that year. Here, what they made this year is just X. The same thing will happen for Medicare. I'll take the percentage, which is the same, and I'll multiply it by what they made, which is X. Our very last step that we did before was we added them up. Oh, it's an ugly line. So if I add these things up, I'm going to get 0.0765 X. So that year, if you were looking at someone's income and you wanted to figure out both, and they made below the maximum taxable income, you could just plug their income in there and be done. That's why they have you do this algebraically, to try and find some quick solutions. Alright, so your next example is the last chunk of examples, example 4, and it goes back to objective 7. Okay. In 1988, Social Security was 7.51 to the maximum income of $45,000. If Grace earned $51,211, how much Social Security did she pay? So the difference here is that we're only doing Social Security, and this person made above the max taxable income. So Social Security doesn't care if you make more than this. It's going to pretend that is all you made. So this number of what she actually made, I don't care about. So the percentage is 7.51, which is 0.0751 as a decimal. Instead of multiplying it by what she made, I'm going to multiply it by the maximum that they're going to take into account. So think about that. If you make $3 million, you are going to pay the same as this person who made $51,211 this year, because it's above the maximum taxable income. Okay, so if you do that out, you should get $3,379.50. Okay, all done. The one below, still the same year, so it's the same percentage, same maximum taxable income. She's made more money. But if we're doing Social Security, they don't care if she's made more money. They're only going to look at the maximum taxable income. So I'm going to use the same percentage. I'll turn it into a percent, and I'll multiply it by the same number. I don't care. If they make over that maximum taxable income, I don't care. Same exact problem as above. Same exact answer as above. So I could ask that problem multiple times. I could say, I made $1 million. What is my Social Security going to be that year? $3,379.50, no matter how much you make over this amount. Okay, the next one is a little bit different. It's the same idea, but you're going to do your math a little different. Everything you've done so far today has been multiplication. And these are different colors, but it's different. Okay, here, they're giving you what they actually paid. This has been the answer to every other problem. They're giving that to you. So I know whatever I do, it's going to equal $2,853.80. Right? That's what they paid in. Doing Social Security, I'm using the same numbers as up here. So if it's, my decimal is going to be 0.0751. But I don't know what the income was, so I'm going to put an X. This is being multiplied, so I want to undo that multiplication. I'm going to divide both sides by the number beside the X, the number that's being multiplied by the X. If I do that math out, my X this person's income will be, if I can find it on my paper, I'm sorry. It will be $38,000. Okay? Your homework, I'm changing. I don't want this to be B. I want this to only be A. Okay? There's a chunk there. There's 3 different problems to do. Alright, so if you have any questions on this homework, it should go relatively quickly, right? But that's a math teacher, so let me know if you need anything.